Hey guys, welcome back to Dante's Library. We are talking about Shadow and Bone. Shadow and Bone was first published on June 5th of 2012, and it is written by Leigh Bardugo. It is an audiobook, and the audiobook is narrated by Lauren Fortgang, and that audiobook is also 9 hours and 21 minutes. Now, this is the first book of the Grisha trilogy, and it is also the first book of the Grishaverse. A Grisha is a person with magical powers. This book has a lot of parallels to our real world, to where it's not like everything's not black and white. People are scared of what they don't know, and a lot of people don't have powers, so they're scared of Grisha. And one of the countries that are really scared of Grisha is basically kind of like a Nazi country, where these people should be put to death and all this kind of stuff. This takes place with our main character, Alina Starkov. Alina Starkov and her, I guess we'll say love interest number one, is actually in the military. And they have to go into something called the Dark Fold. The Dark Fold is like a giant wall of shadow that kind of separates the land. And they have to go in because they're in the middle of this giant war, and there's monsters in that shadow fold. Well, when they get attacked and it doesn't look like they're going to have any hope to survive, Alina Starkov actually starts to glow and summons a power that she had no idea she knew. Now, because people look at Grisha differently than they do normal people, she's also an outcast, but also a hero at the same time. So while her military folk that she's always been with kind of cast her aside because she's a freak for having powers, the Grisha kind of put her into their zone. Or oh, you're a Grisha, you come over here now. But even then, she doesn't completely fit in because she has a power that no Grisha has ever had before. And it also makes her kind of an outcast in that sense as well. Well, in this book, it turns out that they think she and her power, which is summoning sunlight, can actually destroy the Dark Fold. So they want to train her on how to become a Grisha and to save the entire world. However, she doesn't know how to do that. And they have to go through this prophecy kind of thing where we have this deer. So each one of these books has a animal on the front of the trilogy. And that animal is what they're hunting in that book itself. So there's a deer in here that she has to hunt down. And apparently if she hunts the deer down, she will get its power, making her more strong, more capable of using her power to destroy the Shadow Fold. Or at least it seems like that. If it's a natural ability, who knows if killing nature is the way to do that. Oh well. Now, there are a couple of people in this book. One notably is the Tracker. The Tracker is your military buddy, who is the love interest number one that I spoke about earlier. Love interest number one basically follows you around all they can to try to get this deer to help you out, but they're in love with you. Alina's also in love with Tracker number one, or Tracker love interest number one. However, there's also the Darkling. The Darkling is the leader of the Grisha military, and the Darkling is also a love interest. It's love interest number two. There's a lot more that we learn about the Darkling in this. All the characters in this book kind of suck, to be honest. They're not that compelling. Tracker is okay, but he only does everything for Alina. And it's kind of just he's a white knight, and that's all he is. Alina is just a confused little girl who either whines too much, is egotistical, thinks everybody's in love with her while she's in love with everybody else. And it's got that kind of issue there. The Darkling is actually the most interesting character in this book. He is the most well-rounded character in this book. And he was the one that I would view as, if anyone should end up with the girl, it would be the Darkling. The Darkling is actually just my favorite character in the book. Even though some of the Darkling's character tropes and descriptions are, let's just say, romance Fabio kind of esque. Which, it's whatever. It's still a compelling backstory. So this book, as you can see, this is the Netflix edition of the hardcover. I do own multiple copies of this book. I have it in hardcover. I have it in the original print, I have it in paper, and I have the special edition. This is my favorite series of all time, not my favorite book. So, there are 2 ways I would think you could start this. The third way, for one, was to start there. You can just watch the Netflix series. However, with the Netflix series, it is called Shadow and Bone, just like this first book. However, they canceled it after season 2. So season 1 is the first book in the Grisha trilogy, which is Shadow and Bone. Season 2 is the second book of the Grisha trilogy, Seed and Storm. Shadow and Bone, the Netflix series, got canceled after season 2, so it's incomplete. One thing that is cool about the actual book, or about the actual Netflix series, is they added Six of Crows characters. Six of Crows is the 4th book in the Grishaverse, and it has my favorite characters, and Six of Crows is my favorite book of all time. They do Kaz dirty in the Netflix series, I feel, because his entire character arc revolves around him not caring about anybody and not showing any type of care whatsoever, even for his own team. And in the Netflix series, he obviously cares about his team, and I think that just kind of undermines his entire story arc in the book series. But the Netflix series is in collaboration with Leigh Bardugo, and it does all of the other characters like Jasper and all them perfect. It is an amazing Netflix series. It sucks that they canceled it, but I understand it. And one reason that makes me understand it is the Grisha trilogy is the worst part in the Grishaverse. It fells from that author's first book syndrome, right? So the problem is this feels like it's Leigh Bardugo's first book. It's got some bad pacing at points. Some things are overly descriptive, while some things fail at being descriptive whatsoever. There's a huge focus on too much romance and lovey-dovey, too much confusion and back and forth. It has a lot of, we'll say, high adventure moments, a lot of things that you would think should be descriptive, and it's not. Overall, it's just kind of everywhere. It falls from that yes and kind of thing, where it's like, okay, we're on a boat, and this happened, and this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and this happened. Like it has that kind of feel to it. It's not bad, you know. It's enough to win writing awards in high school. If you write your book that way, you end up going to state and you get your book like voted on by a lot of people, because it's a lot of action, right? It's just not paced well enough. However, because of that, she is a quick learner. Leigh Bardugo, every single book that she writes is better than the last in most cases. So the Six of Crows, for example, is better than the Grisha trilogy. Crooked Kingdom is better than Six of Crows. And then you got King of Scars is better than Crooked Kingdom. Rule of Wolves is better than King of Scars, and so on. So every book she writes, it is better than the last. This does fall under the young author versions. She does have an adult book series. It's an Alex Stern book series. I think Ninth House is the first book. I could not get into that, but I do really like her young adult stuff. So overall, it's not a bad book. The other 2 ways I would say get into this, other than the Netflix series, is you can either start with this book. If you do not get into it, either stick with it or skip the trilogy and move straight on to Six of Crows, or just start with Six of Crows from the very beginning. I started with Six of Crows. So I read Six of Crows, I then read Crooked Kingdom. After that, I read Shadow and Bone, Seeds and Storm, and Rune Rising. Then I went over to King of Scars and Rule of Wolves, because while I was reading the series, Rule of Wolves was a brand new release, and I read this entire series in 1 week. I highly actually recommend it. Six of Crows, like I said, is my favorite book series of all time, and I only buy both the paperback and the hardback versions of a book if I really like that book series. So overall, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5 stars. I do enjoy it, although it's kind of a slow start to the actual series, but the entire series is a great series on the whole. Let me know what you think down below about Shadow and Bone. Also, let me know what you think about the covers. I go back and forth. This is a beautiful cover. It's got an awesome deer on it, and it makes sense. The spine has this gold lettering, so it pops out on any bookshelf. But the original cover that's like black and gray and red also looks really badass. So I think it depends if you like color or if you like kind of like a grayscale thing. But both covers are really good. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. I'm going to try to do this. This YouTube channel is mostly going to be about reading books to give me a reason to read more books. I feel like, oh, well, if I can try to read a book every week and then just post like a review on that book, it gives me a reason to go read another book and to keep up. Now, I might go in the future, so I might read like one novel a week and one manga a week and maybe one comic or something like that. But, you know, it's not going to be a big like booktuber channel or anything like that. It's just, I like this book. I'm going to talk about it and I'm going to keep going. So these first videos that are going to pop up are going to be the entire Grishaverse. I am then going to follow that up with a weird one, but The Prince by Nikolai Machiavelli and Ahsoka, the Star Wars book that has the, I think it's the actual voice actor of Ahsoka is the narrator of that, which I'm excited for. That's going to be really cool. And then from there, I think the next book that I have on my to-do list is actually Breach of Peace by Daniel B. Green, which he's a YouTuber. And I don't know, his book's supposed to be like some mystery, like Sherlock Holmes mixed with high fantasy. So that'll be interesting. I also have a couple more books on my radar that I want to pick up. But yeah, I will see you all later. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more books. And that's it. Bye. Peace.